What's up, guys? Look, we're going to talk about the most important thing that you can do to help jumpstart your fat loss journey. I'm going to tell you guys a little story. Back in the day, I used to be an advocate for intermittent fasting, which, if you don't know, you're basically setting a window where you don't eat, and then you've got a window where you do eat. And the thinking behind this is, from a fat loss standpoint, is that, if you're eating for less of the time, odds are you're probably consuming less calories. And while that is a fantastic idea on paper, what I found to be the problem with this is that after going such a long time without eating, and if you're a person who has no discipline already, you're going to fail, because the hunger pangs and the cravings are going to be out of control. I know they were for me. I'd come home after work, I'm breaking my fast, and dinner's being served up, and I'm having, I got a bag of Doritos in one hand and a pint of ice cream in the other, and I'm just ravenous and just fucking rummaging through the pantry. And that's all before dinner is even on the table. And so this would kind of just happen throughout the rest of the night. And what I'd find is, by the time I go to sleep and I'm starting my next fast, I've eaten, probably the same amount of calories as I would have had I just spread my meals out throughout the day, but also not from the types of foods that you should be aiming for. All right. When you have these cravings, you're going to tend to steer towards options that might not be the best for you. It wasn't until I got out of this trap and started a new protocol where I'm eating a lot more frequently and really trying to stabilize my blood sugar throughout the day, that I started to see not only just the mental clarity and energy, those benefits, but also the physique changes that I've been looking for so long. When I was fasting, man, I looked like shit, guys. I was not losing body fat. Nothing was working right. Once I started actually eating a good breakfast and then following that up, with smaller meals throughout the day, that's when things kind of started to take shape. So I want to go over the things that I eat for breakfast. And guys, I've eaten the same exact breakfast for 6 years in a row. Every single day without fail. I open up my eyes in the morning. I know exactly what food is going in. It's on repeat and it never stops. And this breakfast consists of 3 different foods, and I'm going to go over those. But before I do, I kind of want to speak about the methodology behind why I've selected these foods. When you're eating your first meal of the day after breaking a fast from overnight, it's really important that there's 2 golden rules. You want to be consuming a high protein meal and a high fiber meal, which is the reason that I've kind of selected these different foods that I'm eating every morning. The first one is whole eggs. Okay, I'll eat 3 of them every single morning. And you're going to get 20 grams of protein roughly from 3 whole eggs. You're also going to get an insane amount of micronutrients when you're eating the whole egg. And while I was on some more aggressive cuts, sometimes I would cut out, maybe I just have 1 whole egg and then a bunch of servings of egg whites, just so I'm hitting my protein goal and I'm cutting out a lot of the saturated fat and kind of crushing my calories a little bit, so that I'm not taking in as many. And this worked really good for me as well. So if you are on more of an aggressive cut, that is definitely another idea. Just kind of floating that by you. That could be another way to go about this. But the nutrients from the egg are so important. It's essentially like just popping a multivitamin in the morning. You're getting everything that you need from that. And there's an argument about, whole eggs and cholesterol because of the saturated fat. Don't listen to that shit. All right. If you go to the doctor and your blood work comes back good and there's no pre-existing cholesterol issue, don't let that scare you. It's not going to happen. Okay. If you're eating a whole carton a day and you're eating red meat, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner as well, then yeah, maybe some problems might arise. You'll probably get gout and stuff, but if you're moving and you're in the gym and you're getting your steps in and stuff, you have nothing to worry about. Don't let that scare you. And actually, a lot of the more recent studies have shown the exact opposite, where it's going to actually push your HDL and LDL both more towards the direction that you'd want them to. So don't fall for that trap, guys. Whole eggs, the most complete food source on planet Earth. The second food is oats. And for me, it's top 2 carb source. And the reason why is it's just packed with fiber, soluble fiber also, which is going to really help slow digestion. This is also going to help with your body to be able to absorb all of this protein because, with 3 whole eggs, I've eaten 20 grams of protein right there. The oats themselves, that's going to be another 10 grams, per cup. So 30 grams of protein right there. And again, the soluble fiber is going to really, really kind of like upregulate your digestion and make sure that you're absorbing everything that you can, not only just to stay satiated and to stay full, but also all of the muscle building effects that come along with that. And the third and final food is Greek yogurt. And that's low fat Greek yogurt, ideally, just so that we can keep the calories a little bit lower. Amazing source of probiotics, is going to help create a really healthy gut microbiome and help with digestion and inflammation and all of this. So great food source, and also happens to be a really, really good protein source. So, 1 cup of Greek yogurt, you're looking at like 15 to 20 grams of protein there as well. So the total now between these 3 foods, I mean, you're looking at 50 grams, guys, and that's going to put a massive dent into your protein goal each day. For me, I try to get 180 to 200 grams. So that 50 grams right off the bat makes it a little bit easier throughout the rest of the day for me to keep, hitting those numbers meal by meal. Makes it much, much easier. And also just starting the day out on a good note, eating a good quality meal. Your blood sugar is not spiking and crashing the way it would if you went to Dunkin' Donuts and grabbed, like a sugary ass coffee and a donut. And an hour and a half later, you're in the break room, like rummaging through the fridge about to steal your coworker's food because you can't resist the cravings. That really is how bad this shit can get. So starting the day off right is going to ensure as the day goes on, you're making some of the right choices because you're not going to have these cravings. So yeah, if you've been fasting and you've lost body fat and that's working for you, keep doing it. All right. But if you're somebody if you lack the discipline, which look around, most people do, then it's definitely not the direction that I would go. I would start the day with a big, high protein, high fiber meal. That's what I would recommend. And doctors, they debate this stuff left and right, the cognitive benefits and the actual like health and, rejuvenating cells through fasting. And while I think there is an argument there for sure, as far as from a fat loss standpoint, I really don't give a fuck what the doctor has to say about this if their stomach's gigantic. Okay. That's probably not somebody that I want to take advice from. I'm going to ask somebody who has been there and has done it. All right. If you've been under 10% body fat and you've put in all the work and you've experimented with these different things and you've found what works for you, and maybe not just for you, if you're a coach and you found things that have worked for your clients, like I'm going to take your word for it over somebody who's read a couple of books and went to school, but hasn't actually put anything into practice. I'm pretty much just going to leave it there. I will have a new video dropping probably tomorrow. So stay tuned. Peace.